If you've been following this channel, you know that I've been saying since the preseason that Trayce Jackson-Davis must get rotational minutes for the Warriors, given their need for more size and better interior defense, which has been missing since last season, particularly off the bench. To my surprise, Steve Kerr has elected to keep the big man on the bench for most of this season, despite seeing overwhelming evidence that TJD fundamentally helps the Warriors on both ends of the floor. All I can really do is to continue to show footage of the minutes he does get to play, to show why he provides immense value for this team as a player who has the ability to do things that nobody else on the roster can do. That said, the Warriors were missing Klay and Kuminga in their third game of the season against the Pelicans, opening up an opportunity for Moses Moody and Trayce Jackson-Davis. I'll do a separate film session on Moody, who deserves his own segment. For this video, I will focus on how Trayce made the most out of the opportunity given to him in this game, and how playing him naturally fixed a lot of the problems the Warriors have dealt with this season. As always, sit back and enjoy, because you're about to find out how the Warriors have got their most convincing win of the season with an actual anchor connecting their defense for all 48 minutes of the game. First, let's look at the rotation. It's Chris Paul, Steph Curry, GP2, Saric, and Trayce. I'm generally not a fan of putting Curry at the 2, but with GP2 at POA, this formation is easier to stomach, and the size of Saric and TJD together makes up for some of the height deficit of a CP Curry GP2 trio. Now, let's get to the action. The first play starts beautifully as Curry screens for GP2, who successfully cuts to the rim while Curry flares out using TJD's pin down. CP could have found GP2 here for the open layup, but decides not to gamble. Trayce makes his own cut after the pin down. CP makes the pass, but is a bit too far from the rim for a direct finish, forcing Trayce to come down with the ball and allowing the defense to recover. No matter, as Trayce sees a wide open Saric in the corner and makes a great pass. Saric pump fakes, then gets a good look at a 2, but a second defender contests well enough to force a miss. GP2 is there for the tip-in, but somehow misses. Next time down, here Dyson Daniels sees a big in front of him, thinks it's sweet, and attacks quickly thinking it's a blow-by, but he quickly finds out as Trayce has great mobility as a big man and follows him all the way to the rim to deter the Looney are not capable of playing this kind of perimeter defense, as not only are they too slow-footed who do not contest at the rim with any aggression, Trayce, and it's a turnover. Trayce is guarding Zion at the top. Matt Ryan sets a screen and Potts elects for a switch, which is probably not a smart move. He could have easily stayed with his man because Trayce was right there. Now, there's a mismatch, and as Zion attacks the middle, all eyes converge on him. He makes a great dish to a cutting Larry Nance, who should probably just go up and dunk this, but passes out. The ball gets kicked back out to Ryan. Trayce contests, but realizes it's a pump fake and doesn't jump out of the gym. Still, Ryan takes one step forward and knocks down the mid-range. Warriors will take this over the 3 as Ryan is shooting a whopping 47% from the 3s on the season. Maybe the pass was a bit hard, but Trayce has got to catch and finish here. The good news is that he won't get yanked for little mistakes like this in this game with Kuminga out of the equation. I'm not sure why Saric is guarding Zion to start. If it's not obvious, this is a barbecue chicken cookout situation for Zion, as he immediately attacks the baseline, fumbles his dribble, and still manages to get to a spot for the reverse layup despite the help from Trayce. I love this play as Trayce prepares to set a screen for CP on the right side. Nance immediately calls for the ice, so Trayce quickly reverses the screen to the left side. CP navigates the situation before delivering the perfect pass to a rolling Trayce, who goes up for the monster jam. Warriors are very hungry for easy points in the paint, and this is a beautiful example of how they can get it by using Trayce as the roller. Meanwhile, there's another cookout session developing on the left side for the Pels as Saric for some reason is still on Zion. Recognizing this, Zion quickly works into the paint and spins to his left before help could come, and Saric gets roasted on the play. This is the kind of nonsensical stuff the coaching staff must clean up. How do you not know that Trayce should be on Zion here? If you're the Warriors, you better make sure this matchup never happens again. If you like the content so far, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts below. Indeed, Trayce is now on Zion, and Saric is on Nance. Pels try to pick on Saric again using a screen on CP. Daniels elects not to shoot the open mid-range. Saric is there on the penetration attempt, and Daniels kicks it back out to Zion, who attacks the middle. Trayce stays with him. Saric is positionally available to help, and the layup attempt comes up short with Trayce grabbing the rebound. Great team defense. Zion once again sees Trayce from the left wing, attacks and attempts to get to the middle, but both Trayce and GP2, the nail help, gets a hand on the ball, and the Pelicans don't even get a shot up. It is so refreshing to watch the Warriors defense work so harmoniously with sound defenders on the floor. Next quarter starts with CJ McCollum using an Iverson cut to get to the ball. Valanciunas sets the high pick and roll. Trayce hedges and allows GP2 to recover. CJ then drives to his left and gets to the cup, but Trayce is right there to block the shot attempt at the rim. My goodness. Jonas gets a hand on the ball, but GP2 is there to strip him and saves the ball right to Trayce to complete this defensive possession. What other Warriors center is making a play like this on defense? Certainly not Looney or Saric, that's for sure. Warriors coaching staff have surely been praying for times like this, right? DHO action for the Pels as Jordan Hawkins penetrates to the middle and takes a well-contested shot over CP. Trayce is out of position due to playing help defense, but still recovers and puts a body on the much bigger Jonas, who shoves him for the offensive rebound, but Trayce uses his athleticism to leap and tap the ball away to Sarge for the rebound. The Warriors have successfully played one-and-done defense against the Pelicans every time since Trayce entered this game. And this is the kind of execution and effort needed for the Warriors to be great and even a dominant defensive team. Another easy bucket in the paint. This kind of play can never be replicated by the likes of Looney or Saric. Watch here as the Pelicans quickly run a Chicago set to ultimately get the ball down to. One thing Trayce must get better at is consistently making strong contact on his screens before rolling. As you can see, he barely makes contact with CJ, and there's just not enough space created for CP to do much here, so he dishes off to a curling Saric, who gets a great look at a three but barely grazes the rim on this attempt. Pelicans use a clever screen tactic here as the smaller CJ sets a screen on Saric while Saric's man cuts hard, forcing GP to switch off while Saric is now forced to guard CJ. CJ takes advantage with a simple DHO, and Trayce once again does everything possible to contest at the rim, but the soft touch off the glass is good for CJ. Good execution for the Pels, but this is still a very tough shot that the Warriors can live with. Again, Trayce has to make better contact on all screens he sets, but this one is probably on CP as he goes a little too early and doesn't find much room from the screen. As you to the third quarter now with the Warriors up by 11 points. A good lead, but far from an insurmountable one. CJ flares out to the three using a Daniels screen, launches and misses, and watch Trayce fighting off Nance to ensure yet another one-and-done possession. It all seems so simple, but this is the difference between a winning basketball play and a losing one. Allowing second chance opportunities has been an Achilles heel for the Warriors due to their lack of size, but it hasn't happened a single time in any of the TJD minutes. Once again, Trayce slips the screen on this pick and roll attempt rather than making solid contact. He must get better at this aspect of the game to create contact on these screens, as slipping can often create unnecessary traps for the point guard, which can lead to turnovers. Not to mention it's simply easier for the defense to recover when you don't erase anybody on the screen. For CP, but slips again. He's wide open on the roll though, but CP doesn't see enough space to get him the ball and elects to kick out to GP. A DHO for CP on this play, but once again TJ slips the screen. Once he fixes this issue, the young center will be an absolute monster for this team. He already is defensively, but he's still a rookie and clearly has some things he can improve on. Still, the threat of his role forces Daniels to switch off, allowing CP to get a mismatch against Nance, and finally, we get the patented mid-range God shot out of CP for the deuce. Next possession down, CP feels some there for the long rebound for the reset. For some reason, Nance tells CJ to switch to Trayce, who sees a mouse in the house and drives right in for the easy layup. Some Horns action on this play as CP uses two separate screens from his bigs. TJD once again slips, but it's more than good enough for CP to get by Ryan, sees another mismatch opportunity against Nance, and rises up for another mid-range. He's starting to get frisky in this game. Distance by Zion and misses, but quickly takes a second leap for a putback dunk. Here, CJ has an ISO on GP2 and initially blows by, but the great thing about GP2 is that his athletic ability allows him to recover on plays like this in a way that not many human beings can. CJ does manage to get around it, but Trayce is right there to contest, goes up vertically before twisting his body to the left to block the shot. Over. Zion tries again and attacks to his right. GP2 cuts off the driving space, then recovers on the shooter, who takes and misses the 3. Sarge is there to clean up the rebound. I can't emphasize enough how beautiful these one and done possessions are for the Warriors, thanks to the job Trayce has done at the center position, allowing the Warriors defense to stay connected throughout the game and build on the lead the starters provided for them while sucking the life out of the Pelicans offense. Here, who dupes the defender by going away from it, and now the Warriors have a 2-on-1 situation, but Pods makes an untimely cut, unnecessarily drawing his man to the play and erasing what should have been an easy bucket for Trayce at the rim. CP still could have threaded the needle here, but Mr. Take Care of the Ball is not much of a risk taker and chooses to reset. Trayce comes up once again to set a screen for CP, but CP calls it off and wants the ISO on Zion. Ryan obviously sees it as well and smartly challenges CP's fadeaway mid-range, but the ball's been glued to his hands, he's been in great rhythm, and he knocks down the highlight jumper in Ryan's face. But Sarge gets in great position over Nance, grabs the offensive rebound and gets the layup to give the Warriors a 20-point lead. Turns out, the Warriors can actually thrive defensively when they run 2 bigs on the floor at the same time, which is something Steve Kerr seems completely allergic to for no good reason. On the final defensive possession of the quarter, Daniels drives to his left, sees Trayce and decides to cross to his right and dishes out to Ryan, who drives to the middle but gets stripped from behind by CP. Trayce retrieves the loose ball, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was a f***ing masterclass on what the Warriors' true potential is defensively, with an actual anchor protecting their paint area at all times. It is more than bizarre that the coaching staff chooses not to get Trayce into the rotation, because without him getting any consistent minutes, their defense has been broken for a majority of the season, and their defensive rating is all the way down to 17th in the league, which is worse than mediocre and completely unserious. Anyway, if you thought that late third quarter burst was impressive, wait until you see how the fourth quarter plays out, which will be shown in part 2 of this video tomorrow. Stay tuned, because I will also explain why Steve Kerr refuses to play Trayce despite it being quite obvious that he is an anchor piece that's absolutely needed for a reeling Warriors team right now. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on this video to help blow this channel up. Thank you for watching. Until next time.